If I wanted to quit my minimum wage job and land a 60 to an 80K remote working from home role within the next 30 days, this is exactly what I will do. Before I jump into the step by step, I want to make it very clear what sort of role you'll be landing. This is an SDR or sales development representative contract paying base salary plus commissions on any deal you close. Now, before you click off, you're not a closer, you're simply the rep in charge of booking the sales calls. So, talking to warm leads already interested that filled out their information on an ad, you qualify them and then you book them on a sales meeting. That is it. If you can talk to strangers or are not afraid to put in the work and to work from home without having to commute or clock in ever again, this is for you. So if you're ready to replace your income and land your first 60 to 80K year contract, let's get into it. Very simple. I'm going to break down exactly what SDR, remote SDR really is and what type of work we're going to be looking at. And then my student Miguel, who has done a ton of interviews, ton of applications, and has passed every single one of them. I haven't seen that boy failed one of them. Is going to show you exactly how to interview, how to apply, where to apply, and what are the best offers inside the field. Down exactly what SDR contracting is slash appointment setting and what I do on a daily basis. Now, before I get into it, I want to go ahead and show you normally the companies that are hiring as well as the offer owners, coaches selling the program services they're going to be selling for. So, this person right here, TJR, he is a very famous influencer that does trading, right? He did trading over his career, and now what he does is he is running a program or a service where it helps people get into trading and make money the way he did, right? So he's promoting his product with organic content, building a big audience, as well as running ads because people like him who are big in the industry not only do organic, which is 1.6 million people following him, but also the ads that are running that are getting more people interested in what he's selling. Now, for the people that are interested in what he is selling, he basically takes them over a process. And the process is a landing page and a video sales letter. A landing page and a video sales letter basically selling you the service or whatever it is that they're promoting. So they all have this link, whether that is the ad when you're scrolling, you see the click to learn more, or in their bio just to learn more directly, right? So you're gonna go to his page, which is learn the proven system that generates 256. You get into trading, and you are interested in what it is, right? So you get access now. Now, once you go into this, that they get access now, you have to put in your information. So you put in your name, you put in your email, and you put in your phone number. Once you've put in that information, you are part of the system now of, people like us targeting. So we have the number, that number and the info go straight into a CRM, which is where you land. It's like a list of people that are interested that have gone over the process and put in their information where you're going to end up calling them. So once they've done that, you go to that list and you call people, you qualify them, see if they're a good fit, and you book them into a meeting with one of the closers that close the deal for the program or for the offer owner. And then you make a commission out of that, right? So normally that's how you make money. You make a 3% to 5% commission out of the deal because you set the appointment, and most of those companies are paying base salary as well, like the company I work for. So this is me this past year. I'm going to show you my commissions, how much I made the company revenue, how much cash collected I've helped the company make, and obviously the payments that I have gotten straight to my bank account. This is not revenue and then, profit margins. No, no, this is straight profit. So you get paid directly to your bank account, how much you earn throughout the time. It's like a 9 to 5, right? With commissions, a little bit different. You get paid based on the performance, so that's why it's better. But now, this is 2,086,000 generated revenue, and then 1.1 million cash collected for the company. This is for 2025, starting January 2025 to December 2025. And this is the dashboard. This is how much I made. So you could go ahead and pause the video right now and take a screenshot, add up all the payouts, and just do the math, right? I've added over, I mean, I made like 70 to 80 grand from home. That's another thing. It's 70 to 80 grand, but the amount of work I've worked, like, it's bare minimum. I wake up, I mean, I don't even work that much, to be honest. Like, a week, I'll say I work maybe in total, like actual work, calling people and like having conversations, maybe 15 to 20 hours a week remotely. I'm always picking up my boy or going to like places like, driving around because I take calls while driving around as well as my phone in the hand. It's literally just having someone that's interested, give them a call. You could work from anywhere you want. And it's a 15-minute conversation, see if they're a good fit, and just book them in. Boom, send them. No handling objections. No an hour conversation with them where you have to reframe them, have to convince them to give you their credit card and pay you 5,000 over the phone. Cause I've done it. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I try to get into it because it looked like you could make more. But the amount of work and the amount of dedication, the amount of like stress you go through when you have to hop in a one-on-one, I just wouldn't recommend it. So that's why SDR contract appointment setting, in my opinion, is better. So you make 7 to 80 grand from home. Like I said, I've gone to Colombia, worked. I've gone to cruises, worked. I've traveled to Europe when worked. I've been anywhere around the world, everywhere around the world, and been able to put in, the numbers I'm putting in, which I never thought I was going to get here. As a kid working at Planet Fitness, making 11 an hour, I didn't know the language when I first came to the US when I was 12 years old. 12 years old. Man, I'm even fucking um stumbling right now. But yeah, this is the amount of money I'm making and this is how my day looks like on a day to day. Basically, I wake up, I have people book on my calendar. I already called Lydia Tadiz. I had a call with Sindhu at 11 and I booked her in. I have a call coming up with James Lee at 12, which I'm gonna do live right here with you right now, recording this video. So yeah, show you the process. It's very simple. And then I have a couple more calls up to, you know, 9, which is where I block my calendar. And in the middle of them, if I want to make more money, which you're watching this video because you want to make money, you outbound. You outbound the people that didn't book straight into a calendar, but were so interested. So those people that put in their information are still interested in the product that just didn't end up booking the call with you or going over the whole process. So they're on the list still. You got to give them a call, see what they were looking for, qualify them, and set them with an appointment. So that's how it looks, basically my day to day. And throughout the day, what I do, like I said, I drive around. I hit the gym in the morning. I go to sleep at 9. I have a good schedule going on right now, and then I just make money. So basically, that's what I do on my day to day, and how you get paid as an appointment setter. So this guy right here just scheduled a call with me at this time. So this is what I mean by they're interested. Whenever they click the link or whatever and they fill out their information, this guy ended up booking, but they come up with to the list right here. This is the list I was talking to you about. So my company is close.io. There's other companies, Go High Level. There's different CRMs, different lists that you end up in, and this is where we mostly work throughout the day. So the lists end up here, and then inbox. People that book in my calendar. I have 12 coming up right now. This is 12:01. I'm late, but video first. No, and these are the lists we normally get. So these are the people that have opted in over some time that you just give calls to. Normally this lists are given to you by the business owner, so you don't have to worry about it. Your job is to only call the list and schedule the meetings. That's your job. So let's call James. Let me see. Okay, it's probably a good lead. And you get access to calendars for the closers. This is where you book the meetings. this guy confirmed and he has good.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
I'll call him again. He already confirmed he has to pick up the phone.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
Yeah, sometimes they don't show. That's on them. But what I do, my process with someone that doesn't show, I just text them, see if they're still interested in having the conversation. Ask them if they want to reschedule, and if he wants to reschedule, reschedule. But
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is.
oh, this guy ended up being a no-show. You know what? He's a good lead. What I'm gonna do with this guy, it's good potential. I'm not gonna cancel him. I'm just gonna move him for tomorrow. It's probably busy or something. If anything, I'll call him tomorrow again. Probably answer. Probably something came up or something. But yeah, it's normally how it looks like, to be honest. If you would have answered the phone, I would have gone over my process, which is going over, the questions I have, my script that I have memorized, that I've provided for you guys, where I asked him a couple questions on what he's looking for, see if he is interested in exactly what we offer. As well, like, the time urgency, does he qualify? Does he have the funds? And then if everything qualifies, then I go ahead and I choose one of the links given to me by the uh, company, which is directly to closest calendars. As you can see, Kevin, those are the closers. I just go to the link, click on the link, go over the time, when are they available, and then I just book them in, put in their information, name, email, phone number, and then boom, they're booked. Now, since he didn't show and I already spoke to someone, I'm gonna go ahead and let's just go over this one.
Hello. Hello.
This is what it would look like.
Yes, this is. Awesome. Awesome. You scheduled a call with me right now, right? Yes, I did. Awesome. Yeah. I just wanted to give you a quick call. I know you scheduled time with me right now. What was it that interested you? What were you looking for? I'm looking to upscale my, wherever I am right now, and I thought, maybe Data Engineering Academy could give me the right perspective of where I could be and where I can be and how to get there. So that's the reason of this call. Where are you right now? If you don't mind me asking, what is it that you do? Oh, I'm in Dallas, Texas. And what is it that you do for work?
Now, that's how the conversation normally goes like. I ask what they're interested in and then what do you do for work. I have the process I'm going to go over with later in this course for you. So don't worry about that. But this is kind of like how it will look like. I asked a couple questions. Look,
So
they
I do
open up
have
and
this
they give me
heavy
exactly what
experience of
they've
the
done, why
SQL,
they're
operational
interested.
ETL tools, and Azure Data Factory also.
The girl was
And the
just looking
AWS
to
experience I do have
upskill,
it.
get a
And
better position.
coming to the visualizations, like
So I
all
just went
the
over the
like Power BI and
questions.
OBI and
Yeah, 100%. And no, I understand why you're definitely looking for help when it comes to that, developing the skill sets that are.
yeah, I mean, I also want to mention
And
that,
then look,
Yeah, so
so
when it comes to the skill sets you're going to be acquiring, it's just depending on what role specifically you're targeting. But yes, we do have, because it's very custom, but we could help out with any AWS, Azure, data modeling, GCP, the cloud tools, no worries about that. But it's obviously depending on exactly where to go, what jobs we're looking for, and what are they looking for from your side. So those skill sets are going to be acquired throughout the process as well, correct? What I recommend for you, Singura, since you have a lot of experience yourself.
so I'm gonna explain this part, and this is basically setting the appointment. So she was a good candidate. She was making good money. She was really interested in what we offer because she was looking to upskill and get a better role. And I determined at this time of the conversation that she was a good fit for the program. So what I do as an remote SDR, I go ahead and pitch the conversation with the closer. So I went ahead and set this.
And obviously you've been in the industry for quite some time. And I feel like being under 200 is something that you shouldn't be at. I recommend having a conversation with the experts in the academy that could sit down with you and break down exactly what skill sets specifically we could help you with. And then, build up a plan based on that to make you, yeah, correct. Which is one of the experts, so they could take a look at your resume background and based on that, build up a plan based on skill sets and, more of like exactly where you're going to get from our side to help you land that role in the 200 plus in data engineering or, senior level positions. This is more about in-depth conversation based on yourself and your background.
got it. Okay, yeah, we can do that.
When are you available, like later today or tomorrow, to have a conversation like that?
How about like tomorrow? Same time maybe? Oh,
Same
just
time?
just a second. Let me check my calendar for tomorrow
Yeah, no.
sometime.
So this is more of an hour conversation via Zoom, so make sure you have like an hour separated.
So then in that scenario, let's do it from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. tomorrow Central Time.
Okay.
That's it. 10 minutes. I normally say 15, but this was 10 minutes. 10 minutes, and I was able to book a time for 3:30 tomorrow, which it's, you don't have to worry about how to book because the company provides it for you. They give you all the links and everything for you to book the call, all the calendar. You got to make sure they have openings, so you go on the calendar, and if they have a 3:30, say choose Central. So yes, 4:30 Eastern, set 3:30 Central. I mean, I booked it for Wednesday, but normally they have available times. We have a lot. No, companies have a lot of closers. You don't have to worry about the time availability. You book them in, and then look, appointment with. I booked her with Gracie, so she has an appointment for tomorrow at 3:30 Central, 4:30 Eastern time zone. And that is what I say about the benefits of SDR remote selling. You book the appointment and the closer deals with the deal. That's it. You had a 10-minute conversation. You saw that they were a good fit and then you booked them in. And that's it. That's what you do as a remote SDR. Now, what her job is to obviously close the deal. And then if the deal closes, I make a commission out of that deal. 3% for this company. Like I said earlier, most companies are paying 3% to 5%. So this deal, it's around right now the package is at 22,000. So if it closes 3% out of that, you make the math. Plus the base that I'm making right now. Right now, I am on track to making the most amount of money I've ever made in a single month. This is me. I'm just gonna show you. Already doing this video, so might as well just show you. This is what I'm on track for this month. So it's January 13th. I'm at 9,000. Not bad. I mean, I'm 21 years old. I work from home. So I, I like it, I guess. Nah, I never thought I was gonna make this money, to be honest. I've generated the company 250 already and then 200 cash. And this is the commissions, the people I close. So piff. So yeah, that's what it looks like. I wanted to show you live conversation, but this guy James, like I don't know what happened. I'm guessing his daughter didn't sleep and he was bothering him or something, right? But I'll call him tomorrow. But yeah,
Next step of this video is really to lay out the roadmap in terms of what you need to do to actually get in a role. So I'm going to be covering exactly everything from building your portfolio. That includes your resume, creating your Loom intro, optimizing your LinkedIn profile. Then we're going to get into applying, the process of applying to an actual role. So where to source the roles, where to find the roles, as well as the process of what you should be saying in every single question, what you should be filling in every single answer question box, and how to maximize your chances of actually landing your first interview. Because at the end of the day, if you're not landing the interviews, then everything before that, you pretty much just have to restart. Now, the third thing is going to be the interview section, pretty much covering everything that you need to do and say on the interviews to make sure that you pass that interview. And the fourth thing that I'm going to be covering is your first 7 days, or really what you need to do to perform as quickly as possible and become a killer remote SDR from the jump. So the first thing we're going to head into is creating our resume. I always recommend resume.co because it's simply such an easy place to start making your resume. As you can see here, I already have resumes I've created, but I'll go ahead and create a new resume to show you exactly how I follow this process. So once you're on resume.co, you're going to want to create a free account. It's completely for free to create an account. You're going to hit start from scratch. And all you're going to be doing is inputting information on this left side to create a resume on the right side. So just going to put my name right here. Pretty much all I would be searching for is an SDR, junior advisor, appointment setter, whatever you want to call it. Really, the reason I call it an SDR over an appointment setter is because an SDR works with more professional businesses instead of smaller offers that are just scaling, right? Now, I'm going to click on next. Just going to put my email right here as well as my phone number. And then I'll go ahead and post this on the city, the country. I won't fill in my address, but that never hurts. Then you're going to want to create a professional summary. So I actually have my resume over here, and I just want to show you very quickly how I would go ahead and structure the professional summary so it looks extremely professional as possible. Now, you can actually use the AI assisted one that it provides here, but really all you're looking to fill into this professional summary section is just give it a high level understanding of who you are as a person and really what you bring to the table in terms of SDR experience. Now, I know that it's a little bit difficult when you're coming with, let's say, more customer service experience or a background that's not strictly SDR related. But what you can do is turn that customer service experience or whatever experience you have and customize it more in a way that is more relatable to the SDR role. So I'll go ahead and show you what that would look like. You can say something very simply like, over the last 2 years, I've been working as a customer front-facing employee at a notable gym franchise. That's what I was really doing before I got into this SDR work. I've contributed, right? So you don't have to say that you've generated specifically. I know that I probably signed anywhere between 100 to 200 members in that gym. So I could say I've contributed over 500K in monthly recurring members. I was averaging anywhere between, let's say, 50 calls per day. So like, let's say if you're a host or a server, you could say something like, I was booking XYZ appointments. I was averaging anywhere between 50 to 100 dials per day, reactivating customers, billing, or I should say fixing billing issues, and helping customers get toured around the gym, as well as upselling them into alternative services. Very, very simple. You want to include a little bit of quantitative data as well as qualitative data, meaning you want to explain what it is that you're doing while including numbers. And then what I would just do is I just hit retry on the AI thing, and it's pretty much just going to build it out for you. So I just use that one, and it's going to pop it in over here. So then I'd click next. Pretty much all you want to fill here is your employment history. So what was I doing? Well, I was a front desk agent / membership advisor at Planet Fitness, right? I was doing that from, I believe it was like 2021 until 2023, right? Also, again, in Miami. And then you want to organize this in a way that looks pretty professional. So you want to go ahead and fill in all the specific things that you were doing for said company, right? So let's say I was saying I was handling, 10 tours of the gym daily and providing a good understanding of the benefits and facilities, right? Then I'll go ahead and, fix that, manage membership inquiries, process registrations. Again, just fill that in right there. Hit enter. The next one would be something like I managed to close at a 80 to 90% closing rate and was able to upsell on gym bags and supplements. Again, make sure that thing is building it out for you, coordinated with fitness members. So it's just going to give you a bunch of ideas. You want to put as many as those as possible. I would recommend really anywhere between 8 to 10 of them. Then you're going to click on next. You want to add skills. So what did you learn in that job that is specific to being an SDR, meaning somebody that's on the phone, right? So anywhere from cold calling, right? Just go cold calling, again, expert level. Then I'm also going to add outbound retention outreach. I have all of these, already put in. Handling billing issues, expert level. You want to put like 3 to 5 of them, I would say. Let's say inbound lead conversion. One more. Billing, or I already put that. So upselling additional products. Now, if you don't have any of this experience with like upselling and all that sort of stuff, like you really do, even if you're a server, you're constantly upselling. So like even you could put like upselling additional products and you're just upselling dessert at the end of the person's meal. So it's very, very easy to do. You want to click on next. The institution, you could put education here. It's always good to add education. I've been able to land on financial services offers simply because I come from a finance background. And so leveraging that degree to my advantage, is always going to make me more marketable than a candidate that doesn't have that degree under their tool belt, right? And then if you want to put in more stuff here, right? So like internships, any courses that you've taken. I know for me, I took several sales courses before, applying. And so I went through that first. There's references, languages, links, hobbies, any custom section, that sort of stuff. And then here is your resume. It's pretty much all set to go. Now you have 2 options. You can either click on here to download, but that's going to cost $1.95. If you just want to go the free route, I would highly just recommend putting JPEG to PDF. So you click on this website right here. Then you're going to go ahead and copy this. I would copy as much as possible. So zoom out so that it shows more of it. Then I drop this in here, convert to PDF, download PDF. And then here's your resume that you can now send out. Obviously, yours is going to be significantly longer. There's going to be more points on this section, right? You're going to add your education down here a little bit more in detail, just so that there's a little bit more information about who you are and all that sort of stuff. Now that we've created the resume, we're going to move on to creating the Loom intro. Now, to just give you a breakdown of what a Loom intro is, essentially it is taking your resume, right, and putting it into a video format anywhere between 30 to 90 seconds so that you can send to offer owners or individual offers or pipelines, whatever you're applying to, and pretty much have them understand how it is that you sound over the phone, right? It's going to be a video. How it is that you, like the hunger that you have in you, what's your energy like, and telling them a little bit more than just them looking at a document, right? And so creating the Loom intro is very important, and you can pretty much create one solid one that you can send out to multiple pipelines, individual offers, all that sort of stuff. And then if you have an individual offer come your way, you can always create a custom one that specifically reflects to that specific offer and that specific description, right? So the first thing you're going to want to go ahead and do is head on to loom.com. Now, I already have a bunch of different ones that I've created. I'll go ahead and share one really quickly just so you have a good idea of what that actually looks like. Hey, my name is Miguel. I've been in sales for close to 2 years now, primarily in high volume and performance driven environments. My background spans from BizOp to B2C. So as you can see, it's very simple, very front facing, and it's extremely simple to record. All you have to do is create an account on Loom. So I'll go ahead and just show you guys exactly how to do so. You're just gonna hit on get Loom for free, sign up with Google, pretty much just click on an account that makes sense. So we'll just go ahead and use the account that I already have to create a Loom video just so I can show you guys. Pretty much you're going to click on this right here, and then you're going to want to hit either install Chrome extension or download desktop app. Either or work extremely well. I would recommend the desktop app just because you can control a little bit more of what you're seeing on screen. But very, very, very simply, and just to show you exactly what you want to be saying on this reel, you pretty much just very, very simply, you want to say, hey, my name is X, right? Let me actually zoom this in a little bit more so you guys are able to see. Hey, my name is X. I've been in the sales, right? Sales, customer service, let's say hospitality, right? Whatever industry you're coming in from, you just want to mention how long you've been in that field and try to make it relate as much as possible towards sales. So like, even if you're in construction, you could say, I've been in the project management space for the last XYZ time, right? Make it sound like something that would be more fitting towards the remote SDR space. I'll just go ahead and put sales for now. I've been in sales for the last 2 years, right? Very simple. I've sold anything from, or I would say I've sold everything from, what have you sold, right? Or who have you sold to? If you work in a restaurant, you sell B2B or B2C, sorry, right? So B2C. If you sell, if you work at a bank, right? And on a day-to-day basis, open credit cards for business owners, B2B, right? Even if you speak to just a regular consumer, B2C. And that's pretty much all you do. If you've sold real estate, I've sold everything from real estate to financial services, really anything. You could put, I mean, this is all very custom to you, right? So I've sold everything from, I usually like to say B2C, B2B, BizOp, right? So I typically like to say that. Then you want to move into, so hey, my name is X. I've been in sales for 2 years now. I've sold everything from B2C, B2B to BizOp, and I've generated, how much have you actually generated in numbers? So like you saw previously, when I worked at the gym, I signed up members. And so I probably signed up, like I said, anywhere between 100 to 200 members. And each one of them was paying around $24 per month. So 24 times 200 is around $48,000 I might have exaggerated that like a lot. 48,000 per month times 12. That's around 57,000. So yeah, I definitely blew that out of proportion for the resume. But I could easily have said I've generated 57,000 MRR within the last year of working at the gym. Something like that. You want to turn your experience, your customer, whatever experience you have, tweak it a little bit. That just shows an intentionality. It shows that you're hungry to actually land a role. It shows that you're willing to, and really you can even admit that maybe it's not like the craziest sales experience, but the fact that you're able to take, the knowledge that you learned prior and you have the skill set, you tweak it towards the sales side of things, they're going to value that. And to be quite honest with you, and I'll break this down a little bit more in the interview section, but landing a remote SDR role isn't as difficult as it seems. It's just more so about showing the hunger, showing the work ethic. And if you're really looking to, and it's really the disclaimer I set out and I explained at the start, if you're not willing to put in the work ethic, to put in the time, to put in the the time to actually get the feedback, the constructive criticism, and begin learning a skill set that's going to pay you in dividends in the future, then this is probably not for you. But this is one of those moments where you can showcase, hey, I have this experience. Maybe it's not sales experience, but I'm still willing to come in, work hard, and perform and be able to earn money, not only for the business, but as well to match my income goals, right? So once you've dropped this, you get into what the company actually gets from you, right? What the company that's hiring you gets from you. So, what one of the mentors that I had taught me is pretty much what you want to say in this specific section is something that people regularly compliment you on. Now, whether that's, that you're reliable, or maybe you're consistent, or maybe you have a nature where you're able to overcome every single obstacle, you want to make sure that you're covering something like that. So think about anything that somebody has complimented you on, whether that's your consistency, your reliability, your role model esque behavior. And that's essentially what you're going to be talking about. Everybody's going to be saying, I'm going to be the most consistent, hardworking person you've ever met. I'm going to work more hours than you would ever imagine. Everybody says that. So just throw that in the garbage bin. Focus on what is unique to you and what you bring to the table that is different from other people that you've been specifically complimented on in the past. That's essentially what you're going to be talking about. So for me, it was reliability is like a big one that I've been complimented in the past. The other thing I know I personally have is a figure it out factor. So I'm willing to figure it out no matter the obstacle in front of me. Another one that I like to bring to the table is just the feedback process. So I'm very coachable. That's also a really good one that offer owners look for. You could say 1 to 3, don't overdo kind of what you're saying. If you can focus on one and really deliver and show the intentionality behind one, then you'll be pretty much good. So these are the 3 that work for me. And then once you've broken that down, you just want to say, again, my name is X. Thanks for your time. Talk to you soon. That's it. That's pretty much the Loom intro. And that's going to get you 80% of the way there. Of course, there's little things that you can improve on your behalf, but that's going to get you 80% of the way there. So once you're back on Loom, pretty much all you have to do is you can click on the Chrome extension here and it's going to open up the Loom, just to show you what that would look like right here. So pretty much you're going to have this little, head area, right? You want to put it into the square version, and the square version would open up pretty much a window like this one, like a rectangle window like this one. And as you saw in the preview video that I showed you guys, that's all you're going to be doing. You're going to be speaking directly to the camera. You want to put on something professional, have nice lighting around you, or just like a white wall. It doesn't have to be anything super fancy or complex. And all you're going to be doing is talking to the camera. So read this document, read it a few times, kind of get an understanding, a good flow of it, and just say it to the camera a few times, and you should be good to go. Like, it's really not that difficult. Pretty much all you have to do, just to show you guys, make sure that your camera is on, test your audio before starting. So make sure that the microphone is connected, and then look at the camera, start recording, record your video. I recommend anywhere between 30 to 90 seconds. Don't make it too long, because at the end of the day, they're just trying to get through these as quickly as possible to figure out who's the person that I'm going to be sending over to the interview and who's the person that I'm not. And then you're pretty much good to go. That's all you have to do for the Loom intro. Now, the next thing that I wanted to cover is the LinkedIn. You want to optimize your LinkedIn so that it's specific to an SDR role. And it's sort of like your social presence, simply because it is a more professional environment and it's going to invite better and bigger offers, right? So you want to make sure that your LinkedIn is optimized as perfectly as possible. And I'll go ahead and show you guys what a good LinkedIn actually looks like, so you're able to see exactly what it is that you want to be building out on LinkedIn. That way you're able to see, how you can actually perform extremely better. Now, jumping in, this is my boy. He actually appointment sets with me. And pretty much this is the ideal, really, LinkedIn that you need to build out. It's nothing complex. I just recommend having a good headshot. This one is a little bit unprofessional. I should tell him to change that. But you want to just put a picture of your face. Very, very simple. You ideally want to have a banner up here that looks pretty good. So like, let's say for this lady, Yeah, she doesn't have a banner. This is definitely not a professional banner. This is a really good banner. This is honestly a really good profile or LinkedIn optimized profile. I would just put my first name, my last name, right? What is it that you do? You can put SDR, junior advisor, or SDR, appointment setters. What companies you've worked in the past, doesn't matter if it's another company. Then down here, you want to put again SDR, junior advisor, what you're doing. So I'll go ahead and show you what my friend puts. Definitely shouldn't be putting this, but there you go. And then he has his experience down here. So if you check out the guy that we just went to, man, I wish I could find him again. I think it was this. Yeah, here he is. So he pretty much takes the highlight, right? So like what we built over here, this text up here, the professional summary, you want to take that and you want to add it right here to the about section. Then for your experience, you want to do the same thing. So take the experience and the employment history that you have here and just add it to the experience down here. So as you can see, he worked from an Encore specialist and Warren Henry Automotive Group from this time to this time. He was doing real estate before, where he went to school. If you have any prior licenses or certification, anything like that, highly recommend you add it. But really the main thing, and personally what I would do, is just have a clean banner up here, a professional picture, put in your highlight section and the work experience. And if I'm not mistaken, LinkedIn actually lets you drag and drop your resume directly in. And that's it. That's pretty much all you have to do on your end. A quick tip that I just recommend, let's say the connections, that always looks good. It's sort of like your followers on LinkedIn. I'd just send a bunch of connections to people just to make sure that it looks good, and you should be a-okay to go. Now, once you've finished the LinkedIn process, you should be pretty much all set to go. You've built a pretty good profile in terms of what you need to start applying. Really, it's about finding the opportunity. Now, this was one of the biggest things that I struggled with, and I actually had to pay quite a good amount of money to find my first opportunity online, because a lot of the time we don't know where to apply. We think that we can go on LinkedIn or Indeed, find an appointment setter role, and that's really not the case. That's not where the great companies are at. So what you want to do is find a pipeline. Now, a pipeline is essentially a group of companies that come together and are pretty much administered by somebody at the top. Now, that person at the top is who you would be applying to. So you'd be applying to that pipeline, and then you would have access to all these other companies on the back end. So one of the biggest and best pipelines that I highly recommend applying to, and it's really the one that started off this journey for me, is called Closers.io. I talk about it in my content a lot, and it's simply because it's such a good pipeline. It works with some of the biggest names in the space, and it's really going to put you in a place where you're able to land an opportunity that is extremely solid, great to start off with, is going to offer base and commission, just depending on the role, of course, that you decide to go with, and a lot of growth opportunity. So if you head on to careers and then client job openings, you're going to see absolutely every opportunity that is currently open. So real estate SDR, 5 to 7,000 per month. Sales management coaching setter, 5 to 8K per month. Medical marketing setter, 7 to 13K a month. Holistic coaching setter, 5 to 7K a month. Fitness DM setter, 2 to 4K a month. That's on the lower end. That's going to be DM setting. Group home setter / closer. So this is going to be more of a full cycle. This one wouldn't necessarily fall under the criteria. Here's another one, health coaching setter, 4 to 7K a month. Luxury condo setter, 5 to 8K a month. Online course DM setter, 3 to 6K per month. Military fitness setter, 4 to 5K per month. Concealment furniture, this one is to be discussed. So that's when you actually go through the interview. Outdoor construction setter, 5 to 8K a month. And it just goes on and on and on. And there's so much opportunity. But first, you need to get into this pipeline. So how do you actually get into this pipeline? Well, you can honestly click on anything here, or you can just go to careerswithinclosers.io. So this is where you can specifically apply to a role and make sure that you're applying to the right one. I'll go ahead and pause this video. I'm not sure where this audio is coming from. Here, I'll just scroll down. So you would go to appointment setter. This is the same thing as an SDR. I just don't call it appointment setter because appointment setter gets a bad rap. But pretty much you're going to click on this one, 60 to 72,000 per year. Of course, you can make more if you put in, again, time, effort, skill set. So you want to hit apply now. Now, once you've clicked on apply now, it's going to break down a couple more things just in terms of flexibility, that sort of thing. Then you're going to hit on start and you're going to start filling out your information. So I'll go ahead and put in information that is not mine just to not waste your time. I'll just put any email right here. My phone number is fine. Doesn't really matter. The time zone, you want to put in what time zone you would be working. Ideally, Eastern, Central, Mountain, or Pacific time are the best time zones. Then you would click on your LinkedIn profile. So that's why it's super, super important. You want to take this link up here once you have your LinkedIn profile all set up. I'm not going to actually put in that. That would be disrespectful to the guy. So I'll just put in a random link. Link to your other social media platforms. Super important. Link any social media that you have, whether that's Instagram, Twitter, anything really. And make sure that you add something here that is not crazy. It's not you having like a crazy bender drinking. Just put a professional picture of you on Instagram and you should be all set to go. Now, again, I'll just put in a random Instagram. What department are you applying to? Sales team. What position are you applying to? Setter. Are you available full time? Now, this is a big one. I'm not going to tell you guys to lie, right? If you're not available full time, definitely put part time, but try to figure out a way to make yourself more available to get to full time, right? Because at the end of the day, any company is always going to be looking for somebody that is available full time and that is willing to put in the work full time, just because they know that they're going to get significant more value from that person full time. But if you can't, then just put part time, no, available, only available part time. You can be honest. There's nothing wrong with being honest. What are you currently doing for work? So this is where you want to take the experience that you've built up over here. You want to ideally copy this and then you want to paste it into here. So you would put absolutely everything that you're doing currently for work so that they understand what your background is. Then you want to get into what interests you about this opportunity. So this is where you start getting the chance to be a little bit more personal, be a little bit more intentional with your answers, and really start showing a little bit more about yourself. So in terms of what interests you about this opportunity, I always like to say being able to generate income based off my work ethic, time, effort, skill set, and treat myself like if I was my own business, right? And that answer, when it comes to this in specific, is so important and so big that these people, like, they'll instantly be more attracted to a candidate that says that than a candidate that says, hey, I just want to be working from my laptop at the beach, eating shit, not doing anything, right? But if they know that it's somebody that's willing to put in the work, that's willing to improve, that is really coming into a position where they want to treat themselves like their own business, it's going to increase the chances of you passing absolutely every interview, right? So then we're going to go next into what relevant work, life experience, and training do you have that most relates to the role you're applying to? Again, you already have some of the experience prior that you changed. Oh, I wasn't even sharing my screen. But what relevant work, life experience, and training do you have that most relates to the role that you're applying to? You want to honestly use the experience that you have that most relates. Very self-explanatory question. So if you're working like a customer service job or you're working front desk, use that one. Any experience where you're talking to strangers or customers on a day-to-day basis, whether that's in person or through the phone, just add it into here. And then what is your familiarity or experience with high ticket sales and the online coaching industry? You can just be, honest about it. Really, all I know is that there's a lot of course sellers, online programs right now selling courses online. And I'm very familiar with that type of work. I know that I can come in, do the dials, and put in the work as much as possible. If you need help with certain questions, I highly recommend just throwing the question into ChatGPT, seeing what it spits out, and then switching it up a little bit specific to you. And that's always a recommendation that I give to absolutely everybody that I work with. So once you've filled this out, you want to go into what are your goals, both income goals and non-income goals. So this is where you can be honest. I want to shoot for, let's say, 5K a month. What is the deeper motivation? This is where you can get personal. The more personal you get, the more time you take on these answers, the more likely you are to land a role. I remember at the time when I first started applying, I had just quit my job. I was ready to go all into this. And so, I let them know that. I was very, very clear about, hey, like, this is why I'm doing it. This is the deeper motivation. This is why I'm really ready and willing to go all into this and really land a role. And so you want to express all of this. For the resume, once again, you want to just grab the PDF that you should have here, throw it into here. And then once you press OK, you should pretty much all be ready pretty much to go from here. It should let you submit the application. And once you've submitted the application, then you should be at a point where they're going to start reaching out if they're interested in you. So just to go ahead and show you guys what that actually looks like, let me jump into another screen. Perfect. So you should receive an email like this very quickly if you are accepted to the pipe, or if you're considered for the pipeline. So pretty much all it is I saw your application come through in regard to the setter role, took a look at your resume and like what I see, I think it's worth hopping on a quick interview. So this quick interview is very, very simple. It's really an intro call, and all you have to do is click on this button. It's just going to take you to a separate page. You pretty much select your time zone, and then you book in a time with one of the account managers, right? So it's very simple. The call is like max 30 minutes long, and all they're going to be asking you are a few questions about yourself, really just getting to understand who you are as a person, how you communicate with others. And if you've, done any interview before, or you're already working in a customer service front-facing environment, this should be like a no biggie for you. Like for me, for the first time, I'm not a very sociable, I'm very introverted. So it was a little bit tough for me, but like I said, I was ready to go all into this. I was hungry. I wanted to make money, and I just stood up to the plate, took the interview, and I was able to pass it successfully on my first try. Now, this interview, really the main questions that they're asking are going to be, tell me a little bit about yourself, which pretty much all you have to do is spit back what you already wrote in your resume and what you covered in your Loom intro. They're going to ask you things like, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Great ones that I like to say is strengths are that I have a figure it out factor. So anytime I come into a problem, I do anything in my power to fix it, overcome it, and keep moving. And then a weakness that I have is simply trying to be too perfect at everything. If you use those two, those get you 80% of the way. If you have more personal ones to you that you can share like an analogy or a story with, it's just going to make it much more personable, and the chances of you getting hired are going to shoot through the roof. Those two are just, ones that work for me. The other thing that they'll ask are some of the questions from the application. So things like, what are your income goals? What are you earning now? What are you currently doing for work now? Again, if you've already filled out these things in the application process, then answering them again on this interview or intro call, I should say, very, very simple. You just have to make sure that you sound personable. You could talk to somebody over Zoom, and you should be all set to go. This meeting is via Zoom. Like I said, it's mostly like 30 to 45 minutes. Pretty much you hop on, you turn on your camera, unmute your mic, make sure, again, you're in a nice environment. Same thing goes for your Loom. The same thing applies here. Just make sure that you're in an environment that's professional, that's not some like you're not taking it at a restaurant or anything like that. Make sure that it's a professional setting, because at the end of the day, you are landing on a roll. Now, once you've gone through the application, you're going to be getting sent offers like this one. So when I mean getting sent offers, you're going to be getting sent actual companies that you can begin applying to land your first SDR role. So if we take a look at this one, this is actually the first opportunity that I landed in the space. It was an e-commerce business opportunity offer. So this is what's the schedule. Required working days are Wednesday through Sunday. A lot of these opportunities are Monday through Friday, but this was just one that was Wednesday through Sunday. The offer price point is $9,000. I always recommend going for offers that are above 10K. And the reason why is because if they're selling a 10K product, not only are they selling at a higher ticket price point, meaning they have better customers, they have better marketing departments, they have better sales and closing departments, as well as fulfillment, because they're able to charge premium prices. You want to work with companies that are more premium. So above 10,000. And then not only that, but the commission that you're going to be earning per set deal is going to be higher, simply because the higher the price point, the more your commission percentage is going to be, obviously. Now, the earning potential for this offer was 5K per month minimum. And the KPI, if they hit KPI, right? KPI is basically your quota. And then this includes a 1,500 base salary. Half of the team is currently making 10K a month, monthly. Now, they're looking to hire an SDR. The role would allow you to set appointments for their buyers and opt-ins. Very, very simple. So you're basically going to take a look at the opportunity overview. It's going to tell you a little bit about the company, what they're selling. So all of this is information that you need to make a decision. The ticket price, SDRs are expected to make X, Y, and Z. And then the next step is going to tell you what's next. So typically next after this is when you have the actual interview. Now, it depends on what the interview could be, but a lot of the time it's a group interview specifically for the pipelines. Now, the group interview, very, very simple, is you in a room with around 10 people maximum, and you're going around in a circle. And guess what? It's pretty much the same interview question. So tell me about yourself. That's a pretty easy one. You want to come in a professional attire, right? You want to be as short and quick with your answers as possible because they want to get around the room as quickly as possible, but you also don't want to be too short or succinct where you don't stand out, right? So you want to make sure that you're giving enough information while keeping it short to respect the other people's time. Now, the first question is going to be, tell me about yourself. Then typically it's a strengths or weaknesses question. Then it's how much are you looking to make, right? How much do you need and how much do you want to make, right? Another question that they always ask is like, why this specific business model? So I remember for this question, for this specific offer, they asked me why e-commerce. And pretty much my answer was, hey, I've tried drop shipping in the past. So I know what a buyer is feeling, thinking before they buy an e-commerce membership or mentorship, or, the pains and struggles that they have around starting a drop shipping or an e-commerce product. And so that really sold the setter manager on the fact that, hey, this person already is coming with some form of experience. And the more relatable that you can be, the easier it's going to be for you to pass the interview. So those are the sort of questions that they're asking on these interviews. They're really not that hard if you kind of understand them. For me, I landed my first role. My friend that actually made 11K a few months ago, he actually took like probably 5 to 6 interviews. So don't be discouraged if you fail on the first try of the interview. Just try again for the next interview. And if that one fails, try again for the next interview. And eventually you'll land a role no matter what. So that's pretty much all it for the group interview itself. Really, the next steps after this is accepting the offer, landing the role, and really going through what you're going to be focusing on for the first 7 days. All right. So now that you're in a position where you accepted the offer, you're now on a roll, right? Now, the pretty much all you need to focus on is the first 7 days. The first 7 days make it or break it for you as a remote SDR. And the reason I say that is because if you can prove yourself within the first 7 days, the next couple of months are going to be very, very easily. So what you need to focus on, and really the key metrics, the key KPIs that offer owners are looking for, is number 1, conversion, right? Number 2 is show up rate. Number 3 is going to be scheduled appointments. And number 4 is going to be dials, right? So obviously conversion is going to be how many deals can you close. Show up rate is how consistently are you getting prospects to show up. And scheduled appointments is how many sets are you making per day? How many bookings are you making per day? The more the better, right? And then dials, how many dials are you actually putting in? Dials are a very, very correspondent with somebody that is working extremely hard and has an extreme crazy work ethic. So you want to focus a lot on dials, but conversion is very important. Now, this is all I don't want to say flywheel, but domino effect. Now, what I mean by this is that your conversion will only be good if your dial rate is extremely high, right? If you're scheduling a lot of appointments, if your show up rate is extremely high, as a byproduct, your conversion will go up. Obviously, skill set is involved, right? But right now, the first thing that you control is how much output can you get out, right? And so that's really what you're going to focus on. So it doesn't matter what the KPI for dials is. It's usually under 300 dials. The first week, you want to do 500 dials every single day for the first 7 days. It doesn't matter how long it takes. Doesn't matter if you need to work overtime. Put in the 500 dials. daily. And that's going to show the offer owners that you can actually put in the work and that you have the work ethic within you. They can shape you. I had a mentor once tell me it's not about the skill set, it's about the work ethic. You could teach the skill set, you can't teach the work ethic. So the work ethic is the most important. It doesn't matter what you do, put in the 500 dials and talk to as many people as you can. Now, typically out of 500 dials, so like let's say I'll do 200 dials in a day, I'll probably speak to anywhere between 30 to 40 individuals, and I'll convert really anywhere between, if I do 200 dials and I speak to 30 to 40 individuals, I would say it's honestly less. The pickup rate is significantly lower. So out of 200 dials, 20 people, I'll probably book 12 appointments from that. So if you're starting out with no experience, obviously your skill set is going to be more so on the lower side. If you can call 500 people, right? Let's say you just speak to 50, right? You have 50 conversations. Out of those 50 conversations, you book 5 to 6 appointments. That's already a win, right? But the only way you get to 5 to 6 appointments is dialing a ton and speaking to a lot of people. You will be given a script, and that's what I'm going to be covering next. But I just wanted to break down specifically the metrics that you should be shooting for on those first 7 days. Now, for those 5 to 6 appointments, really your goal is to get at least 1 to 3 of them to actually show up to the meeting. It's going to be difficult to control your show rate at first because you're not that skilled in terms of tying down the prospects, making sure that they're all set and ready to go for that next call. But you want to make it as close as possible to 1 to 3 of them showing. Now, based on that, right, if 1 to 3 people show up to the call across 7 days, let's say on average, that's 14 showed calls, right? One of these has a potential of closing, right? And that puts you at a much better percentage than if you did, let's say, the KPI of 150 dials, right? I'll just make the same example right here, right? So if the first week you come in and you only do 150 dials, 10% of that is 15 conversations. You'll probably only get like 1 to 2 bookings, and you'll probably, hopefully, get 1 to show up. Your conversion rate is going to be 0% every single time. Doesn't matter what you do. If you hit the KPI 150 with the skill set that you have, if you have no experience, you're never getting a close in that first week. And that's one of the biggest indicators of a person that actually puts in the work. Obviously, consistency matters, and the effort that you put in continuously after that matters. But if you can show up and close a deal within your first week of working on the offer, you're going to have so much trust built with that offer owner that you're going to be able to improve at a much rapid pace. They're going to be willing to put in more time into you just because you're going to be a better employee. You're showing up with the work ethic, and it's just going to make things much, much easier for you. Now, let's jump into the setter framework. And this is really the framework that I follow and the one that I have people follow when they work with us. And really very, very simple. This is what you would be following over the phone. Every company has their own script, so definitely tailor this one towards that one because those questions are already vetted. There's already setters, SDRs working on those, but this is just a good framework to follow to have a really good process in place to make sure that you have the highest conversion as possible. So pretty much the first step of this process is the report. So you would go, hey, name. They'd say, yeah, who is this? Yeah, John, this is Miguel with BNB Investors, right? Or e-commerce secrets, whatever. How are you? They'd say something like, I'm doing great. What is this about? And then I'd be like, awesome. Yeah, I know you had requested some info like a few hours ago. What was it that had piqued your interest that led you to reach out? So it's a very open-ended question to put the ball in their court and have them tell you what exactly it is that they requested the information for. So you'll get a lot of different answers from this one. And the reason I like to keep it so open-ended and not set a frame is because it allows me to have more variability to where I want to take the conversation. And typically setting a frame makes it too formal at the start. Like if you're going to be speaking to a friend, and I know that this isn't in a friend environment, but if you're going to be speaking to a frame, you're not going to, jump on a call with your friend and be like, hey, Danny. Yeah, Danny, this is Miguel with Investors Academy. And the reason I'm calling is because it's really because you requested some information, and based on your answers, then I could connect you with the next person or send you some more resources. Like that's the reason I don't send frame, because it's just so, it's so boxy, right? It's like you're basically closing yourself off to a specific lane, and it makes the conversation not feel as organic as possible. So really all I say is what piqued your interest, what led you to reach out? Let's say I'm on an Airbnb offer, right? They'll say something like, "Yeah, I've just been looking at different properties. Really want to get started with something in the Airbnb space." Once they've said that, you pretty much say, "Okay, cool, man." And just so I understand, like that's where most people are at when we first talk. I guess what was it that you were doing for work now that's causing you to reach out? And there's several objections that you can follow here. So if you want to pause the video and go through those objections, like I'm not interested, I don't have time, definitely go through those. I just want to follow the core fundamental skeleton of the actual script itself. So now we're in discovery. So you want to ask what's causing you to reach out now. They'll tell you like, "Hey, I've been in construction for the last 30 years, really just looking to, move to that different side of things." And then I'd be like, "Okay, cool. Like after 10 years of being in construction, what's causing you to want to shift? Like why not just keep working in construction?" They'll be like, "Yeah, because my back is hurting." Or they'll say something like, "Yeah, I just don't want to keep on working. My back is going to continue breaking. It's a bunch of hard labor work, that sort of thing." I'd be like, "What do you mean your back is breaking?" And they'll say something like, "Yeah, I just have aches all the time. I have to go to the doctor. There's, a ton of bills, all that sort of stuff." Obviously, this is a more open prospect. There's definitely a process to opening up a prospect if they're going to be more closed. But the next question you would ask is, well, can you not find a role within construction that doesn't have you doing this hard labor? "Yeah, but I've tried and this and that." They're going to give you a bunch of excuses. Well, let me ask you this, like if it's been a problem for you said the last 3 years, like have you actually tried anything to get started with Airbnb? And they'll say something like either yes or no. So if they say no, I haven't tried anything, you want to say, well, what's been holding you back? Like what prevented you from actually getting started? And if they say yes, you say, well, what have you actually tried? They'll say something like, yeah, I tried doing some research on YouTube, that sort of stuff. And I could be like, well, how is that going? Has that gotten you a property? They'd be like, no, honestly, it hasn't. But I'm still going to keep on doing the research. And I could say something like, okay, well, it doesn't sound like that's all that bad. I mean, what's making you question that process now? And they'll open up a little bit more. And then pretty much I can just move on to the next question and be like, well, let's just do this just to see if what we can do here can actually help. Like, what do you feel is missing or prevented you from actually, getting that first property? They'd be like, well, I need an A through Z process. I want to understand a little bit more of how the Airbnb arbitrage works and all that sort of stuff. And I could be like, well, got it. I know some people like to, try things on their own and figure it all out on their own. What's making you look for some advanced help with this rather than just like figuring it out by yourself? They'd be like, well, I've tried YouTube for the last year and it's really hasn't gotten me a property. So then you want to move into the qualification stage. You want to ask a few questions to see if they can actually afford it. So pretty much the next thing would be, so let's say we're able to actually help you land your first property. Like how much would you want to be earning from that? Let's say monthly or yearly, depends on B2B or B2C. They'll say something like, I would want to be 10K is like the typical number. They'll be like 10K a month. And how close are you to 10K a month with construction right now? To be honest, I'm pretty far. I only make 5K per month, right? That just expands the gap and they realize that they're nowhere close to where they want to be. And then you want to say something like, got it. I mean, when it comes to getting you to 10K a month, very confident we can do that. Now, I do want to be like fully transparent with you. There is going to be that level of financial investment, especially when it comes to us allocating resources towards you. It typically ranges anywhere between 7 to 15,000. Is that something that you could work around? And they'll say something like yes or no. Again, more common objections here. Sometimes they'll say, hey, that's too much money. I can't do that. Or I don't have the liquid capital. You can bring up credit options at that point. And then you want to just pitch. And that's pretty much it for the script. So what I recommend is just connecting you with one of the senior advisors. They're going to help you break down a little bit more A through Z in terms of actually getting you your first property, being able to help you land your own deal, structure your own deal, being able to cash flow from this business. Do you feel like a call like that would be helpful? I always like to say, do you feel like a call like that would be helpful? They always say yes. Like 98% of the time they say yes. And then you schedule a call with a closer and you're pretty much set to go. You're pretty much good to go on that front. So look, here's what you actually learn. Number one, what SDR work actually is and how you get paid. Number two is how to build your resume completely from scratch. Number three is how to create a Loom intro that actually sells you on your energy. Number 4 is the one company that is hiring SDRs right now. Number 5, how to crush that interview. And then number 6, what to actually do in your first week to excel and be a top performer. So you have everything you need to land your first remote SDR role. So here's my challenge to you, and it's what most people don't do, right? Don't just watch this and do nothing. Most people, they'll get excited, they'll close this video, they'll scroll on Instagram for an hour, and then just completely forget about it. Don't be most people, right? And I know what you're probably thinking, like, I'll do this later. Let me just go do this and then I'll come back and do it. But later never comes, right? And you know that. So do it now. Just pause what you're doing right now. Build your resume, apply to your first company before bed. And if you actually do this, like if you actually take the actions, if you follow the step-by-step process, you could have interview invites by the end of the week. That's what's crazy about this business model is you could literally land a role within 30 days and start making anywhere between 4 to 7,000 a month within 90 days. You don't have to wait 6 months, 12 months like every other business model, but it's only actually if you do the work. So stop scrolling, stop procrastinating, co apply. You got this. I'll see you on the other side.